Everybody, welcome back to the Cemore Showdown podcast. I'm your host, AJ, along with my co-host, Master Chief,
Hello.
Hunter,
Hello.
and Logan.
What's up?
All right, so last week I brought up that we're going to do an all Nebraska themed episode because we are all from Nebraska, and you know what? Nebraska football season's coming up right around the corner this week. NCAA 25 comes out, so you know what? Let's talk some Nebraska. But before we even get into the Nebraska Cornhusker side of things, I gave you all a task last week, and I'm curious to hear the results. So I asked our co-hosts here to come up with some sporting team names. If like the scenario is, Omaha has been given its own professional sporting team, or just Nebraska in general. You are the owner, and you get to decide the team names for either baseball, football, hockey, soccer, or basketball. You can do all or a handful, but we will. I cannot wait to see what these nerds have come up with. And we are going to start with Master Chief.
Oh, fuck. Well, what do you want me to start with?
Hey, you pick. I don't give a shit.
Well, I kind of took this in a little more of a serious matter rather instead of that, so I figured might as well represent this with our state, with what we kind of have we as a representatives. So first, I'm going to start with the top of the list, which is football. So I keep the mindset of we got to teach them city boys how to head a barn. So we got the Omaha Mammoths, which is our representative state fossil, and we got hockey. I'm not a big fan of hockey. I couldn't think of anything creative, so I called us the Omaha Catfish.
I'm gonna hit timeout right here. Did you just say for baseball? Was it the Mims?
Mammoths.
Mammoths?
Use your ears.
Like a woolly mammoth.
I'm gonna take this off because it's difficult to hear. I'm gonna buy an actual microphone next time around.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So I just needed to make sure because I'm like, am I hearing that right? Because like when I was like, so the mammoths because of the statue outside of Lincoln.
The mammoths because that's our state fossil.
Yeah, and it's the one outside of the. If you go to the University of Nebraska Museum, it's like the fossils like standing right outside of it.
Yeah. And then we got hockey because with the Omaha Catfish.
Yes. The Omaha Catfish.
Yes. Because we gotta surprise them.
Fucking wave the towels, baby.
Yeah. And for baseball, we gotta chuck our baseball balls with oh god, this is going down the gutter. We gotta have those baseballs fly, and I figured, what's the best way to do it? So let's call ourselves the Meadowlarks and show them how to fly. And then lastly, for basketball, because I'm bumbling this bag, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Omaha Bucks. Wait, shit, there's already a Bucks team, isn't there?
For basketball, yeah.
Yeah, Milwaukee.
Well, fuck you. I mean, we could go with the Omaha Whitetails instead, just so we don't have issues, because that is our state mammal. So
I would assume people would be our state mammal, but you know,
I'm not too worried about it. And worst case scenario, if they don't do good, this is going to be a prop for multiple episodes.
Okay, so all right, well, you did a pretty good job with those names. You got very, I'll give it to you. You did way more research. I just came up with cool ones with like stuff I know of when I think of Nebraska. Which is better than Ian, which I'll do his real quick because his cracked me up.
Omaha Corn.
So Ian quite literally said the Omaha Storm Chasers for baseball.
Dude, that's literally our semi-pro team.
Hang on. How about the Omaha Royals for baseball?
That was already a thing, Will.
Yeah, that was our old AAA team name.
Yeah, for our non-Nebraska audience, originally the Storm Chasers were the Omaha Royals. However, we changed that when we took down the Rosenblatt Stadium, and they moved out to Warner Stadium.
Yeah, because they couldn't have three teams. They couldn't have the College World Series, Creighton, and the minor league team for the Royals all play in the same place. So they
Yeah.
went and moved all the way out to Levitt,
Fulfilling.
right by my work. And it's actually a pretty nice ballpark when people show up.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ballpark. If you're a KC fan and you want to see some of the guys play if they're in the minor league, just take a stop in Omaha and come see the sights a little bit and catch a game. It's only about $20 for a ticket, which is pretty good.
It is pretty good. It was funny because when Will and I went, Will went and bought a hat, and I was like, "It was a pretty cool hat." And then 2 days later, my wife bought me a new one because she was your old one, you have it, yours is raggedy. And I'm gonna when I win the division in fantasy baseball, I'll get a Trash Panda hat. They'll get to add to my hat
So
collection.
I'm curious to what he said about football, AJ.
He didn't pick one for football, but he picked one for hockey. And Hunter gonna get a kick out of this. The Nighthawks.
That's great.
That is pretty great.
That's
What? Wasn't that the team?
I'm not kidding. Look, he literally, I'm going to cover that up, but he literally said Storm Chasers, MLB, Nighthawks for NHL.
That's literally. Wasn't that the team name, like that semi-pro team?
Yeah,
yes.
the football team. Yes, you are
Yeah.
correct.
I was gonna say again for our non-Nebraska fans,
Ian
we
quite literally looked up pro sports team names, Nebraska, and then those are probably the first two results.
hang on. I'm
Came
gonna
up.
ask AI if he can give better names.
You know what, Will? Do yourself a favor while Logan spills out his, please. AI look that shit up, and then after Logan's done, if it comes up with better ones.
Alright.
Logan, what are yours?
So NHL, I said the Nebraska Express. So like, like trains or whatever. But that was actually a name that the NHL was thinking about naming if Omaha got it, I guess.
Where?
And
How did you find that out?
well, I looked it up and I also heard it on like when they were coming out for areas for expansion. The Omaha Express was like, but I wasn't gonna pick that for MLB because there's already a Express AAA team, which is
Well, that's fine. I mean, like, I'll say this for like Ian just picked Storm Chasers because like I'll say this right now, Storm Chasers, badass team name, and I really do think that if we ever got a pro team out here, I think we should just tell Kansas City they can go fuck themselves and then just take the Storm Chasers name and then just have it be our pro team name because that is honestly such a good name for a baseball team for based out of Nebraska. But I just thought that was funny. He actually went with that because he and I talked on the phone about it, and I was like, he literally was like, yeah, it's so good. I don't know how I can top that. And I guess Mans literally said, I'm not topping it, so I'm not gonna try. So, but
and then I chose for baseball, I chose the Omaha Colonels. So like corn kernels.
well, you could have picked Colonels because of Offit.
Yeah, that too. Either or, like corn or that. And then in a NFL, I said the Omaha Pioneers.
You suck.
Why did you
That's
choose?
my pick. Fuck you.
That would have been
Well-
that's mine for hockey because I'm only gonna do hockey because that's the most likely it's gonna
Yeah,
actually
we're
happen.
not gonna get it. But for basketball, I don't really know because I don't see us getting a pro basketball team. But we already have for volleyball, we already have the Supernovas, and then soccer, we already have basically a pro team. So
Well, the Supernovas can kind of confuses me because when I heard that that was the team name announcement, I'm like, what is the significance with Supernovas? Because like, admittedly, not every sports team has to be like a super deep connection with your state. Because like the Athletics for Vegas or was Oakland, not like that, kind of sucks and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the Raiders, I don't know a lot of Raiders from Oakland, so. So it's like it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But like when I heard supernovas, I'm like, we don't have like do we have like a famous like astrology thing or something? Because like I just remember thinking that was really bizarre. Because I was like,
since you were for the Storm Chasers, you could just be like the Omaha Twisters or something.
yeah, I have a couple others, but yeah,
I mean, you
Alright.
could go with the Omaha Conductors as well, with Union Pacific being in starting off in Omaha.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Railroaders was an idea I had for a basketball team, but then I realized that sounds like a euphemism.
No,
I said no.
AJ, if there was a pro baseball team, they should just be called the Omaha Runzas.
No.
Yes.
Hang on,
No,
what's the
because the AAA does that already.
Yeah, I know, but just take the freaking Runza.
Well, I tell you what. You know what? Nebraska was the first one of the first states, one of the few states that when we were put in the union, we voted out slavery so we could be the abolitionists. It's true. Fun fact.
That is true.
Yeah.
When? Question mark?
What do you mean win?
All right, AJ, just say your thing since you're already naming stuff off.
All right, so for football, Pioneers, fuck you, Logan.
That's
Because I mainly picked it because Jack Mack sent us a thing in the group chat of like the Pioneers, and then I'd also heard people on Twitter saying that like live in Nebraska that were like, if we like rumor has it if we got a hockey team, it would be called the Pioneers. So I was like, is that where that came from? But like I would say for football, the Pioneers, just because like it's kind of cool. Pioneers are rough and rugged, and that's what football's about. So makes a ton of sense. For baseball, I wanted to do the Conductors or the Railroaders, something train related. We'll go with Conductors because Railroaders sounds way too much like a euphemism. So we'll go Conductors because of Union Pacific. And plus if somebody gets if somebody gets a strikeout like this, like they could just play like a train horn loudspeaker. That'd be pretty badass.
yeah.
And then for basketball, I can't remember what I picked. I didn't write them down, but I will say this for basketball. I think the Express is a good one.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
similar to what we used to have, which was the Gold Spikes. I think when we had the G
That
League.
was baseball.
What? That was
Golden,
baseball. What was
the
the
Golden Spikes was baseball.
what was our old G League basketball team? The Express.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah, because I'm pretty certain it might have been the Golden Spikes or the Express, but I could be mistaken. And then for hockey, I couldn't really think of one because I thought like the Lancers kind of was kind of cool and made sense. But I also just couldn't think of a good one because like Pioneers is so good and Storm Chasers are so good. Like it was really hard to top. So I just kept trying to think of train themed ones. I really couldn't think of any good ones. Because like the Boilermakers, like there's just Purdue. The Conductors, like Will said, that was like I didn't even think about that, but that's a good one actually. But yeah, mine were kind of lame, but it's mostly just because I feel like right now what we have, like Pioneers is good, the Storm Chasers is a kick-ass one, and I think that even though, like Hunter said, it's probably not possible, but the Storm Chasers is unironically like an incredibly cool sports team name for Nebraska because we're right in the middle of Tornado Alley. And then Hunter, you said you only had one for hockey, the Pioneers.
Yeah, it was the Pioneers. Yeah.
And so, how did you come to the Pioneers?
Right smack dab in the middle of the U.S., right where the trail came through. So it kind of just makes sense.
Yeah, AJ, I couldn't find that G League name. I'll have to do more research.
I'll have to ask my dad. My dad went to some of the games, so I'll just ask him. It was something train related though.
Sorry, Hunter, for interrupting you.
Fuck you.
Well, that's why for our fantasy football league, the other division team, the other division, because there's two divisions. There's the Catholics and Convicts, which is for everybody in Omaha, and then the Lewis and Clark division because because the states that everybody else lives in are directly on the Oregon Trail.
Does that mean I need to stick with the Spanish Inquisition again?
I mean, you can, but it's kind of to be honest, it's kind of a shitty team name.
What's wrong with the Spanish Inquisition?
That nobody expects it. You got that. But yeah, I think like professionally wise, like because I think we all agree that like if Omaha's to get another professional sports team, it's more than likely gonna just be hockey. And that's still kind of a big what if right now. Because I actually there was a live stream that that was somebody high up in baseball. He was like on the official MLB account was live streaming, and I just was like professional baseball team in Omaha, and the guy was like, no. I wish I'd recorded it because it was really funny his answer, but I also didn't think he'd respond.
I
Uh,
think
Go
if the
ahead.
town were to have a priority for professional teams, it'd probably go hockey, basketball, baseball, football. With the
Well,
four
we don't need a football team, honestly.
exactly. Well,
Nebraska football is kind of enough, I feel like.
Nebraska is our Nebraska football is just kind of our pro team. So,
Yeah, it's too bad we've sucked until recently. So, Will, before we get into Nebraska football stuff, did you come up with what did Chat GPT come up with for?
all right. So ChatGPT, I asked ChatGPT, help my friend Ian make some professional team names for Nebraska for these sports: football, hockey, baseball, basketball. And it said, sure. Let me test some professional teams for Nebraska in different sports. The Nebraska Thunderhawks, Nebraska Cornhusker Knights, Nebraska Plainsmen, Nebraska Storm Riders, Nebraska Ironclads. That was for football. For hockey, we got the Nebraska Icebreakers, the Nebraska Frost Giants, the Nebraska Blizzard Bears, the Nebraska Arctic Wolves, and the Nebraska Polar Titans. None of those make sense for Nebraska, but hey,
Yeah, like
they sound
besides
cool. So,
icebreakers.
Icebreakers and Frost Giants fucking slap. Unironically, those are
Okay,
fucking awesome.
okay. Those uniforms would be cold as fuck though.
I
If they
know,
were
right? Like, oh my
white.
god, that sounds awesome. Just hearing
but
that.
All
The
right, what's
Cornhusker
the
Knights, though,
baseball?
quite literally, Chat GPT just saw Lancers and Nebraska Cornhuskers and was like,
yeah,
"Whoosh."
Corn Lancers.
I got a little more for baseball and basketball too.
Ooh, okay.
So we got the Nebraska Prairie Dogs, the Nebraska Field Knights, the Nebraska Cornfield Crushers, the Nebraska
Yeah.
Riverhawks, and the Nebraska Diamondbacks for baseball.
We don't have snakes.
What?
Yes, we do. Get your
Yeah,
facts
right.
straight. We have
True.
Diamondback rattlesnakes in Nebraska.
And,
Part of
out
the
Yeah.
west.
state where nobody.
Way out
Yes,
west.
over in Scotts Bluff.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
by the
They're a
same.
protected species.
The
So if
prairie
you ever
dogs would be
find one, just
cool.
We
walk away.
couldn't be the Diamondbacks though. We would be like the rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes would make sense because like it's not the Diamondbacks, but also I feel like if can you guys imagine if like Omaha was like guys, Omaha's getting a professional baseball team, the Rattlesnakes, people in Arizona would be pissed.
That would be funny. It would be really fucking funny. And then for basketball, we got the Nebraska Hoop Heroes, the Nebraska Slam Dunkers, the Nebraska Court Kings, Nebraska Horizon, and the Nebraska Flashpoint.
Okay, Nebraska Horizon is the most realistic for
It
that.
is. Also,
Yes.
Flashpoint is just a fucking comic book.
Yeah, for
I
real.
feel
though.
like Flashpoint would still fit with the Supernovas, though. It would be like a 1-2.
Well, you know what we could name it? We could name it if we get like a baseball team name. Prairie Dogs is good. The Storm Riders also kind of kicks ass, but that's just Storm Chasers, but like it's like you know that meme where it's like Winnie the Pooh going from like just his red outfit to like a tuxedo. It's like Storm Chasers is the tuxedo, like full, like dressed up, and then like one down is Storm Riders. Like,
We're gonna have different storm-related names for different professional teams. We got the Storm Chasers, the Storm Riders, the
the Storm
Storm
Wranglers,
Fuckers.
Storm Wranglers, and it's a cowboy like lassoing a tornado. That'd be kind of cool. That or we just ask Universal to use the Twister movie like Dorothy machine and then just have that be our logo and there's a tornado going into it. But that would also kind of suck because it's just based from a movie. But yeah, that Chat GPT weirdly had a couple good ones, but like my goodness, were some of those just Nebraska Cornhuskers slapped together with like Corn Knights. That was stupid. If we were the Corn Knights, I swear to God, I'd be like, I'm boycotting this team until they re-fucking name it. That would be bullshit. But so now let's get on to Nebraska football, which is what you are all seeing on the screen right now. It is because real quick, all of us have been to a Nebraska football game. And that is Mr. William Ryder. So we're gonna let him start. And I've got a photo.
Sadly, I've been to the Huskers.
More recently, but
We
hopefully
get it.
now.
You're a Creighton fan.
I went to the Iowa-Nebraska football game this year.
It's a mistake.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to die.
I mean, there's a lot of other ways that you can torture yourself. That was definitely not one that you needed to go through with.
So,
Go ahead.
believe it or not, hang on, we gotta wait for AJ to pull up the video. Or not the video, the photo.
I know for some reason it didn't download, and I could have sworn it did. So it's gonna take like 2 seconds. But I'll say this. I'll just give a funny one while we wait for this to download. But my dad and I went to that Nebraska Michigan State game when Mike Riley was coach, where Nebraska was losing going into the fourth quarter, and my dad and I actually left that game early because there was a huge comeback in that game. And because my dad and I were both like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna lose. Let's hit the road. Let's try to avoid traffic. And then we were listening to the game on the radio on the way back from Lincoln, and literally as we're on our way back, we win the game.
So what
to
you're
this
saying
day,
You weren't there, AJ,
huh?
because you weren't there. The AJ curse wasn't there.
Yeah,
Are you kidding
it
me?
was lifted.
Are you kidding me? Every other time, every other Nebraska game I've been to except one, we lost.
Then
One
you
of the
should-
ones was
the
with
freaking
me, so it's
Colorado
probably
game,
me
you don't
because
lose.
I was just canceling you out.
What
Huh?
the hell?
Hey, yo.
So that's a.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
don't say that. That's me as a kid.
Is
Okay,
he
hold on.
Superman? Nebraska Superman?
Sure, let's go with that.
All right, we'll
Well,
say.
Will, why don't you explain a little bit?
Well, as far as I remember, this was a homemade cheerleader outfit for Nebraska, and I think it was my sister's, and I wore it. And I took a picture of it, and I rediscover it years later, and ever since then, I love the picture.
It's your
Uh,
Instagram. It's your current
Legend.
Instagram
yes, it is
profile.
currently my Instagram picture. Funny enough, I have never been to a Nebraska game.
That's gonna change this year.
Yeah, AJ's going to one of these days hold me at gunpoint and force me to go to Memorial Stadium and have me
And
sit
pop
through
your
the entire.
cherry.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
I'll tell
We
you,
can finally drink in the stadium, guys. Come on.
I know. Well, I mean, to be fair, like I don't know, they should have implemented that when Scott Frost was coach, so that way he
Yeah,
could be.
for real.
He might
I
have coached.
want a Jack and Coke that put me asleep for watching this game.
I remember because like you can like because whenever we go to the Creighton, Ian and I go to the Creighton Nebraska game, like there's alcohol there, and it's really funny because like when Nebraska beat Creighton like 2 years ago, we like Nebraska was barely winning at halftime, and when we went there, Ian was like talking to like some people from Wayne, and they were all like, "Oh, Creighton's winning this game, absolutely, like there's no question about it." And I literally just like was fucking with them, like, "No, they're not going to win this. Like Creighton sucks." And then they were all like, "Well, that kid's an idiot," and when Nebraska won, Ian like was like screaming at random people.
Was he actually?
He was so pissed off. Like his people were chanting "Go Big Red," and he was like, "Shut the fuck up!" It was the funniest shit.
Oh my god.
I've never like because like now to be fair, I got my comeuppance a year later because when we went a year later, Nebraska lost to Creighton by like 30. And then I was like, okay, well, at least the Eagles will beat the 49ers. And then
No, wait, that didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like because that was
That was a bad weekend right
that was
there.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really debated swallowing a shotgun shell that night. Not actually, but like
Suck
metaphorically.
starting a 12 gauge.
Yes.
Oh,
I've never heard it described like that, but that's pretty fucking.
Uh,
God.
taking a 25 caliber aspirin.
So
Or,
Will has never
A
gone.
25
Do you need me to
caliber.
do
or
an
I think
accurate
it's like
depiction of this?
a 9 millimeter aspirin.
Do I
No,
need?
Will, Will, if no, Will, I don't want, we don't need to get
Yeah,
canceled.
show me how to suck start it, Will. I want to see.
So AJ, did you already say memory?
What?
Kurt Cobain POV.
Oh,
Did you say your
stop
favorite
it.
Nebraska memory?
My favorite is what my first game I ever went to in 2008. It was against San Jose State, or 2000, yeah, it was 2007. And I remember because I got my hair was painted red. My dad got a football when we were there. We got like there like 2 hours early. We played catch at the practice field for like an hour. And then we went in, we watched the game, and Nebraska like kicked the shit out of San Jose State. It was awesome. Like that pretty much sold me on being a Nebraska fan for the rest of my life. And that's why when Cassie and I inevitably have kids, like I'm gonna take when our kids turn like 7, I'm gonna take them to a Nebraska game.
Yes.
Because I learned that like Memorial Stadium's energy is just so infectious that like
Yeah.
it's like it's literally intoxicating. It's hard to describe, but like it's literally the greatest feeling in the world. And here's one of my other favorite moments from a Nebraska thing. Was when I was as a Democrat, an imposter meeting a Republican governor, which was the funniest thing ever because I was invited to I was a plus one to this which I was told I had to keep my mouth shut the whole time because it was so funny. I wanted so bad to just
No
shout Vote
disrespect.
Biden 2024. I was so tempted just to fuck with everybody there because like there's like a whole everyone there is a Republican except me. And I was like, I have the chance because there are news cameras here. I have a chance to be a dick and be on KUTV.
Did you want to have a death sentence, AJ?
No, I mean Ian would have killed me pretty outright if I had done that. But I was like, I mean,
Wasn't this at his house though?
the governor's mansion, yeah. It was pretty I mean it was nice. The food was good and he's not a I mean he's not a dick. So I mean like
He's a nice guy.
he's a nice guy. I mean for the like four
Played
seconds.
for the Huskers, so
Yeah, and he played in the 70s for fuck's sake. But like
back
also
when AJ played. Oh wait.
oh, okay. Actually, here's another one of my favorite moments that was from a recent game Ian and I went to.
Oh.
Um, so this is for people who don't know. This is at a bar called Gate 27 or Gate 26. Ian and I were this close. If like because we were both nervous, like because we were like we had to drive all the way back from to Omaha, so we were like we don't know how much alcohol we didn't know how the alcohol content was for that because like there wasn't a sign anywhere and it was just this and it's like people were chugging this and we almost drank it but it was pretty great because like
Looks like a fucking twisted tea with a bunch of shit in it.
it looks like somebody pissed into a giant bottle and called it alcohol. Like that's legit what it looks
That
like.
looks like
But-
you're gonna get fucked up off of a
But that's some elite fucking marketing right there.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a shirt. I mean, the shirt I'm wearing right now says "Rule the Trenches," but there's another shirt that I'm gonna get in a couple weeks that says "Drink the Rule Aid" on the shirt, and I'm so gonna get that. And I think I told Ian next time we're gonna go to this bar next game we go to, and we're gonna see if they have this because if they do, if you all go with, we're all drinking it. Like we might die, but we're gonna drink it. and we will record the footage. And then our inevitable demise.
Yay.
We're gonna be the first one trying it then.
Oh, of course. I mean, whoever drives will drink the least. Because we don't want to die. But like
It'll probably be me, because I'm a party pooper.
that's right. Well, because Will doesn't drink because Will's like Ronald Reagan in the 80s. Very opposed to fun.
Hey, I never said that. I like to have fun without alcoholic beverages.
Can I ask you a question? What do you think party pooper means? Because I believe that was a self-given name by you.
Yeah,
Just
it is.
So what the fuck? I'm not the fun police. I'm just the fun police. Like I said, I was 5 minutes ago.
I'm not just the fun police. I'm the FBI. Ow.
No. All right. Well, I guess I'll say since Will hasn't ever went to a game. I've only been to like a handful of Husker games, so I'd say my best memory is probably one of the going to the Nebraska Iowa game, just the experience, even though in the last couple years it sucked, but that the other game I went to was like against Bethan Cookman or whatever, and we killed them. But I would say my worst memory is me and my dad went to a Purdue game, like when Adrian Martinez was still here, and it was the worst game of my life.
Okay, so that's interesting because I never went
He
to
threw like 4 interceptions in that game.
That's fair. But here's what we'll do because our friend Hunter here has got to go here in a second. So Hunter, before you go, I want to get your Nebraska prediction.
I think I think on the low end they're probably going to get 8 or 9 wins. On the high end, I think they could get 10 and then sneak into the college football playoffs.
God, I hope that's true.
I hope so too. It's possible, but I think it's only the beginning.
I agree. Oh my God, this is going to be an insane couple of years. And then so you mentioned Ian is an overachiever. He sent teams. Do you have any specific games you think we're going to lose this year? Like, and if so, like, and I think Ohio State. I think we can all agree we're going to lose to Ohio State.
We are going to lose to Ohio State.
It's not even like a debate. Like they're probably going to win it all this year. So, is there any specific game you think that we are going to lose that like specifically? Do you want me to pull up our schedule real quick so you can see?
Yeah, just pull it up real quick.
Yeah, okay. Because I have because Ian and I have all the games we think Nebraska's going to lose to. Let me see here. Schedule 2024. Okay, boom. And Hunter, I'm just gonna say this right now: if Colorado is on that list of teams, you are off the podcast.
No. I think we're gonna beat Colorado this time.
All right, I like to hear that.
Oh god.
So here's our schedule.
The AJ curse.
I think probably if we're gonna lose any, it's gonna be the 2 Cali games. Ohio State and the 2 Cali games is
What?
No.
We are not losing to UCLA. Wisconsin, I'll give you. Well, you didn't say Wisconsin, but I'll say Wisconsin. UCLA.
Okay, I think it's okay. Maybe not UCLA, but I think maybe USC, and then Wisconsin, and it's always shoddy with Iowa games, so you never know.
I think we win that.
I think we're the clear cut. I think we're the clear cut better team, but it's always the fucking punt off.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was the most embarrassing football.
But yeah, I think 10 wins is probably I think 10 wins on the high end, 10 wins, and then low end probably 8.
That's fair. So then we will go to William. Will, what do you think our record is going to be?
I actually kind of agree with Hunter. I think sticking with 10 wins is pretty reasonable for when it comes to Nebraska. However, 8 on the low end sounds pretty realistic too. Out of how many games are we facing off against? Just because I don't remember off the top of my head.
We play 13. Oh shit. Yeah, that was weird. Okay, so
Yeah,
we play 12 games in a year. So yeah, there you go. That should help you.
us going 10-3 sounds pretty realistic. I can be a little lean a little more towards 9-4
We have a
because we're
bye week, so it's technically we will play 12.
9-3. Will.
9-3. My bad, my bad.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah,
All right, so I will present Ian because Ian
Oh
has
no,
this
not
is gonna be
Ian.
good.
so Ian has 8-4, and he thinks we're going to lose to Rutgers, Ohio State, USC, and Wisconsin.
Okay, that's reasonable.
I don't know. I feel like he's valuing Rutgers way too fucking high. I mean, they'll be decent, but like, here's the thing: Nebraska.
They were a good team last year. If you look off who they beat or how they played.
Well, but here's the thing: Nebraska is going to has like we have an 80% return rate from last year, which is one of the highest in the country, and on top of that, we've got like a top 10 defense. Just not according to NCAA 25, of course. For some unknown reason, we're not even listed in the top 10. Like that actually, that frustrated me because Colorado, by the way, they're in the top 10 defense wise, and they gave up 40 points to TCU. So like I'm just gonna throw that out there. So take that with what you will. That's absolutely ridiculous. They have a good offense, but they have an awful defense. My record is I think they're gonna go 9-3 or 10-2. I'm gonna go with 10-2 because I want to be different. And I think our two losses are to Ohio State and Wisconsin. I honestly think, like, because Nebraska has a good enough team this year, Dylan Raiola has been he's kind of used to having to jump from place to place to place and having to learn a new playbook. So I honestly think it's going to be pretty good for us because we've got a quarterback who's experienced. He's moved around a lot. And I think that, a lot of these teams, like when we look at like the first, like before every game before Ohio State, we are favored in. So, and I would argue we're going to win those games because even though people are going to say, well, with Nebraska, you've got to give it like you got to like know that we're going to lose some games that we shouldn't lose. And it's like I'm not going to pencil that in this year. I feel like this year's different. So I'm going 10-2, and I think Wisconsin's good, and I think we'll lose that close. I think Ohio State will probably kill us because they're going to win the national championship probably, and then Iowa we're going to beat. So I don't even know why I mentioned them just now, because I mentioned teams that we're going to lose to, and Iowa is not one of them, because I'm sorry, but I don't think
Iowa bad.
Their offense sucks, and I don't think they improved very much. Am I mistaken?
No.
Iowa. All we need to say is Iowa bad. Just say you're in Nebraska.
Their offense has not improved.
Yeah, so we're gonna win that game because last time it was a game of who like
who couldn't move the ball down the field the
who could get a first down first. And nobody was winning. It was so
I was at the game, AJ. I don't need to relive.
It's so frustrating because like every time like the announcer was so funny because he was like, "We're punting again." It's like I don't know because Brock Purdy's brother, who is our quarterback, he was fine, but like, oh my god, that was so embarrassing. We couldn't even
at the end. Oh my god.
Oh man, dude, I was so upset. I was like, I legit was like, we're gonna beat Iowa, like we're 2 years in a row, and then I just was in my Amazon truck. I wanted to break somebody's package in half. Like, good God, I wouldn't do that, by the way. But I'm just saying,
he is a good Amazon driver, and he respects the people of Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, just as long as you're nice to me. There are some people on my route that kind of suck, but like, I mean, not like I kick their packages to them or nothing, but uh, like I don't know, be nice to your Amazon driver because then I'm more willing to accommodate your weird requests for where to put your stuff. Which
Yeah.
I had people tell me like go around back, and I'm like, no, especially if it's like at night. I'm like, I'm not going around. I listen. I've seen horror movies. I know this is a trap of some kind.
Yeah. You're
I don't
just
know what it. I don't know what kind of trap, but it's one of them.
Sorry, liberal. I'm not going to fall for that. I'm gonna put this right in front, where the criminals can find it.
Yeah,
All right.
but
Well,
yeah. So I think we can end that right here tonight. But
hold on.
so,
I didn't even predict it yet,
what you
AJ.
didn't even predict?
No.
I thought you did. Okay, my bad. Go ahead, Logan. You present. You
I'll
predict.
just go game by game.
Oh
Sounds
Lord.
good.
I'm not gonna say scores. I say we win against UTEP. That's a lock.
Yeah,
We win a close game against Colorado.
not
Nor-
close. Defense is
Northern Iowa. Oh my God! Don't even need that. That's a lock. We beat Illinois.
it's
That
in.
Yeah. We beat Purdue. We lose to the Rutgers.
Okay, you're off the podcast.
We beat Indiana. We lose to Ohio State. We beat UCLA. I don't get why people are high on why people are high on UCLA.
My
But
dad told me it's because they're a California team, so he's like they're obviously good, and I'm like I don't think you know how California works because yeah, it's warm. Don't get it twisted.
and also UCLA is coming to Lincoln in November, so I think that's an advantage because it could be snowing.
Those soy boys aren't going to be able to handle
Well,
the
just in
minus
general when
30
it comes to the
degrees.
cold. So
And then we play in California against USC. I think it's a close game, but we lose. Then I actually do think we beat Wisconsin this year.
Really? Do you think we beat Iowa?
Yes.
So
good
so
man.
those are your three.
So 9-3.
Yeah. So like,
I think this year we pull off and we beat Wisconsin.
do you think we get a spot in the playoff?
No.
I think if we
But
win,
I could also see a toss up like maybe we don't lose to the Rutgers and here I'll switch it up. We beat the Rutgers and we lose to Wisconsin. I'll switch my pick. So still 9-3, but
okay, I'll throw it out there. Like I think if we go 10-2, like I think we will, that we
well,
will.
we would have to
consider.
we would have to pull off an upset off like against Wisconsin or USC to like even get considered for that.
Well, and if here's what, so if we beat USC and Wisconsin, because my two losses are Ohio State and Wisconsin. So if we beat USC, like I think we will, that'll be good. But I think we will be in the conversation regardless this year, and like Matt Rule will be like probably coach of the year. Uh, he'll probably win coach of the year for college. Like just because like turning a team that won 5 games into what are you doing, Will?
Oh, Bob Ross fell down from my desk.
Okay. Sorry, Bob. But
Jeez.
oh yeah, but yeah, I feel like Nebraska will be in the college football playoff and not just in my NCAA 25 playthrough when I inevitably play as Nebraska and win the title because that's going to happen. But but I agree with you, Logan. I have no idea, like, other than like it's a California school, I have no idea why people are high on UCLA and even USC. They could still totally suck this year. Like, it is very plausible because we don't know what their quarterback situation is going to be. Their defense wasn't great last year, and it was kind of up to Caleb whether or not they won games. So we will have to see how that goes. But I think for tonight, that will do it for the podcast. Next week, we are going to do the AFC East rankings. So that will be fun. Stay tuned for that. But this week was a lot of fun, and I've been AJ. That's my other co-host, Logan and Will.
See ya.
See you guys
Adios.
next week.